Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. I am excited to be unboxing this new deck to my collection. It is Black Tarot, and it is an Ancestral Awakening Deck and Guidebook. And this deck is by Nyasha Williams, produced by RP Studio. It is mass market. I did purchase this on Amazon. The deck is illustrated by Kimishka Naidoo, and I believe the illustrator is from South Africa, and the creator is, I believe, a U.S. citizen who has spent time in South Africa as well. And I also, this was part of a Christmas present to myself, I also got to accompany this deck the Ancestral Illumination, a guided journal for Black Tarot. I also got that. So when we switch camera angles and we are looking at this gorgeous deck and gorgeous box, we'll take a moment to also peruse this lovely journal. And I will just say I was called to work with this deck because I have specific purposes for my decks when I'm thinking about working with them and getting them. And I'm feeling like I may be able to work with this one, particularly for ancestral work for my clients. So I'm hoping that that's what it shapes up to be. We always have these great plans and intentions, and then it ends up being some other direction that we're working with our deck. So yeah. And then in my Facebook group, Abundant Life Tarot Facebook group, one of the members had mentioned that they might want to explore using this deck as our tarot study deck for next year. And so that brought it on my radar, and I was like, oh yeah, I would love to deep dive and study with this deck. So I'm hoping that when we put it up for a vote for the next deck that we want to dive into as a group, this will win. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and switch camera angles so we can dig in and take a close look at the cards, the box, the guidebook, the journal. Yeah, and can you believe it? On Amazon is where I got this. Mass market. It feels very luxe and deluxe for a mass market deck. All right, let's switch angles. Okay, so we've switched camera angles and we are now looking at the deck as well as the guided journal. So let's first explore the guided journal here. Okay, so we have the Ancestral Illumination, a guided journal for Black Tarot, and it's kind of matte feel to it. This was damaged in transport, so I'm sure that if it wasn't traveling from afar, it would have made it just fine, but it doesn't bother me one bit, one bit. So let's take a look here. We have an introduction, engaging in ancestral work. I found this so fascinating here, and it's by an unknown author, but that's okay. If you want to see this and you want to look more at the journal, Amazon's website for this item has a look inside for this book. So you can see this. You can see many of the pages of this book on there up close and personal. So check it out. But look at this. Ancestral mathematics. In order to be born, you needed 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-grandparents, 32 great-grandparents, 64 fourth great-grandparents, 128 fifth great-grandparents, and so forth and so on, right? And then it says, for you to be born today from 12 previous generations, you needed a total of 4,094 ancestors over the last 400 years. Think for a moment, how many struggles, how many battles, how many difficulties, how much sadness, how much happiness, how many love stories, how many expressions of hope for the future did your ancestors have to undergo for you to exist in this present moment? Wow, it's powerful. So she has some suggested ways of when you decide to connect with your ancestors, research and visit spaces connected to your ancestry. I do plan to do that myself personally, first starting out with going to the southern states where my family on both sides predominantly lived and was at for centuries. And then one day, going, worldwide and exploring that. And that's the time that we're in, that we can explore our roots and be able to pinpoint exactly where our lineage started, give or take a little, but it's exciting. You can speak to your ancestors, you can spend time with family and recover stories. That's important. Build an ancestral altar, use divinatory tools. She has rituals for the moon phases. Love this. I'm very much learning and have been for the last few years about working with the moon phases. So I am excited about that. She has questions to meditate on. So she has questions to ask yourself to begin the month, questions to ask yourself week 2, questions to ask yourself week 3, questions to ask yourself week 4, questions to ask yourself looking back at the month. So having some reflection, journal prompts here to help you. And then she gives you even an example. Okay, I love that. I love that the creator provides an example of how to work with the monthly prompts here. So we have month 1. You have your tarot reading. You have decks used. I plan to use primarily the Black Tarot. I might augment, or add or Oracle deck to work in conjunction with this deck, but this is the primary deck I plan to use with this journal. Spread title, so what spread you use. Date, definitely important to date your journal prompts, whether you use this journal, this guided journal or not. That's okay if you don't have to, but I always encourage people, don't forget to date it because it's beautiful to go back and reflect and look at where you were at in a particular time as you're looking through your tarot journals. What moon phase were you in? And with dating, she even has where you can circle the day of the week that you are entering this journal entry. What question you pondered and was it answered? Yes, no, or maybe. Sometimes the answers aren't going to come up right away, right? It's going to be revealed later. Cards pulled, and you could either use the stickers back here. She provides even stickers. Isn't that so cool? I'm a planner junkie. I love planners. I love stickers. I love washi tape. I love fancy pins. I am that one. I don't get as much time to do that these days, but I still engage in it when I can. So I could even use these stickers here in this section or in my planners. I plan to do both. So if I forget to use them here, I have these gorgeous tarot stickers back here to use in my planner. So cool. I think that's such a nice touch. Card meaning, or cards meanings, the suits, elements, numbers, colors, symbolism, intuitive interpretation. So noting your intuitive interpretation, the keywords and messages that came up or that you wanted to really hone in on for this reading, and the steps after the reading that you are to take or that you did take. Okay, so moments of gratitude section here, and so you just do this from week by week. It looks like for month 1, and then at the end you have a monthly tarot reading reflection. And I love that here. It's got date, moon phase, most common cards pulled, recurring numbers, imagery, and symbolism, most common suits that came up for you that month, major arcana themes, family court card themes, minor arcana themes, introspection, and action steps. So we go through all the months to get to month 12. And then we get to this last section here where she has the tarot keywords, which is exciting because she has the major arcana. She breaks it down for the majors. We have the upright, the reverse meanings, the element, the planet, the chakra associated. So for example, with the Fool, we've got upright, possibilities, reverse, recklessness, element is air, planet is Uranus, chakra is the crown, color is white, and even a crystal association, clear quartz, body parts, functions, ankles, calves, nervous system, and eyes. Interesting. And so she does this for all of the majors. And then for the minors, she has the suits broken down here. Fire and creativity, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So we have the astrological associations. And then here she just has the upright and reversed keywords. Okay. Okay. We've got the tarot birth card and the major arcana. Beautiful. We also have numerology 1 through 10 in divination. That's super helpful. So this can be a reference book as well as a journal. So you can keep consulting it and using it beyond the journaling that you're doing. And then there's extra pages here. And I appreciate the extra pages because I'm quite wordy. And here's the thing. If you find that you need additional pages, have an assigned journal or notebook to go along with this, so you don't have to feel limited in what you're writing about and journaling about. So we have that. So that is the Ancestral Illumination, a guided journal for Black Tarot. Amazing. Now we've got the Black Tarot, an Ancestral Awakening Deck and Guidebook. Nice sturdy box. We've got the magnetic closure here. Feels very luxe to me, and I appreciate that. It withheld the shipping. Amazon didn't have it packed in a box, unfortunately, so my deck kind of got a little nicked here. But that's okay, because that's okay. We have the Black Tarot Guidebook. Look at that. We'll look at that in just a moment. Then we have, I'm actually thrilled about this box within a box because of the fact that my deck had to travel from one country to another. So I'm happy. And if you're like me, where you want your deck handy or in a smaller box because of storage space limitations, you could just keep it in this box here. Okay, so you've got that. Smooth too. It's got this insert. I don't know if it'll come out. I think it does, but I'm not going to take it out. But it's got this insert here. Oh, it does come out. It's got that to keep your cards in. So you could elect to take the deck out of the box, right? Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love that shade of green. Oh my goodness. You could keep the deck in here, or you could keep it in here, like so. All right, you could do that. All right, set that to the side. We'll look at the guidebook towards the end of this video. We're gonna do it a little different today. Hope you don't mind. So here is the backs. I love that. Love the backs. And we're going to go through all of the cards. So we have the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor. I was a little concerned about all of the water elements in this deck, like for example here in the Emperor. However, it grew on me. It really did. And I know after reading and taking a look at the guidebook that this is one of the symbols that is predominant in this deck, and it has a specific meaning to it. We'll look at that in a moment when we look at the guidebook. The father aspect of the Emperor, I really appreciate that. We have the Hierophant. She's standing in front of a church and all the moon phases surrounding her. Wonderful. I love this Lover's card. Love that. We see all the moon phases circling around these lovely images. Here we have the Chariot. We have Strength. The Hermit. Wow, I love the Hermit. And there's even a little lantern here. I wasn't sure how I felt initially about the facial features not being there, but after a while this too grew on me, and I find that the artwork exquisite. We have the Wheel of Fortune, we have crystals, fire, looks like the clouds, I'm assuming for air, and then looking for the, yeah. Do I see water? Oh, this is rain. I was like, here, this is air, the clouds, and then the rain. It's like a little rain. Can you see that? I was like, where is the elements? This is a beautiful Justice card. If you look carefully here, it is the people holding up justice, holding up its, keeping it balanced. I love that. Okay. The Hanged Man. Death. The little girl is gardening. There is the skeleton denoting a death, a transformation, but we also have the little girl of a hope and of new beginning, dawning of a new beginning as well with her dress color. This is amazing. We have the Temperance. Temperance. She is a chef. I love it. I wear my hair like that a lot. With a bread scarf too. She is the Temperance. She's mixing and, measuring and tempering the temperatures, making sure nothing gets burnt. That's a powerful Temperance. I like that. I like that depiction a lot. Here is the Devil. The Devil I thought was special here. So we have the Devil, and there's a signpost. It's a beautiful Devil, by the way. I'm always looking at Devil cards. It's my favorite now. We have greed, pride, lust. Let me see if I can see everything. Envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. All on this signpost. Here's the Tower. Unsustainable, right? We've got chopped down trees, trash, litter along the water's edge. It's not sustainable. Like that. Here's the Star. The Moon. Here's the Sun. At first I was like, oh, this is an interesting sun. There's no sun. Then I started to think about it because I was like, okay, I started to think about how there's a table back here. They're standing in front of it. They're positive. They're happy. This is life affirming. This is life force that she's carrying. So in and of itself, that makes for the sun. I thought that was powerful as well to go in that direction with it. We have Judgment. I love how it feels like the fluidity of a dancer throughout the cards. That is so poignant to me. And and also just speaking to that flow of the energies of the cards. We have the World. She's watering the world. See the world there? Now let's get into these suits. We start off with the Mother of Wands, Father of Wands, love that, Daughter of Wands, and Son of Wands. Are those barracudas? I can't pronounce them. Or are those alligators? I can't tell. Okay. Mother of Baskets. Like she's at an apothecary. I like that. Father of Baskets. It's picking gourds. Daughter of Baskets. She is in a field of lavender. Oh yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. And then Son of Baskets. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness, I love that. She's sitting on the handlebars. And they're kissing. Now we have the Mother of Swords. Father of Knives. It's actually Father of Knives, not swords. I'm so used to saying that when I see swords. Daughter of Knives. Son of Knives. Mother of Coins. I am so in love with this depiction of the Queen of Pentacles. I just think this is amazing. The Beekeeper. I really love that take on it. I don't know if I've seen a beekeeper yet in a tarot deck. In my own collection at least. Father of Coins. Daughter of Coins. She's near the horse. Son of Coins. Now we're at the Wands here. So we have Ace of Wands for the minors. It's beautiful. Two of Wands. Three of Wands. Not your typical Three of Wands that you would see. I'm getting Three of Cups here, but I still really enjoy it. I really do. Four of Wands. Yes. That's interesting. I love that. Wow. Five of Wands. I am loving this. It's the condensation on my beverage is on my cards. We have the parents, I'm assuming. They're sharing an ice cream cone. And then we have the kids at the table. The little girl seems to be hoarding it, and the little boy's got his hand smacking or pressed against her face. And he only has one cone while she has all the ice cream. I think that's interesting for the Five of Wands. We have the Six of Wands. Beautiful. Beautiful. Seven of Wands. This is powerful. This gorgeous woman is standing in a white gown, white dress, and she's standing in front of a police brigade. And she doesn't have all the weaponry and the arsenal and, all of that. She doesn't have that, but she has something that comes from within, the fire within. Really, she's the one with the boundaries. They may have this this boundary here, but it's really her that holds and stands her ground here. 8 of Wands. She's going across a crosswalk. This is a powerful 9 of Wands depiction. You're standing, quiet protest, but still standing tall. In endurance and strength in numbers here with this 9 of Wands. We have the 10 of Wands. And wow, isn't she burdened? She's got the wands on her head. She's got bags of groceries in her hand, the baby on her back. Guess what? She's powering through. She's carrying the weight of all that she needs to carry. It's evenly distributed though, I'll say that. Now we're moving to the Ace of Baskets. The 2 of Baskets. Interesting. I love the 3 of Baskets. Look at them. They have it's a little girls' time, a little, cheese platter, and they've got glasses of wine and a plate of grapes, a little picnic baskets. I'm here for it. This is my type of girls' time, friend time. It's beautiful. Okay, we have 4 of Baskets. Gorgeous. I am so here for this 5 of Baskets, traditionally the 5 of Cups. And if you look carefully, what he's looking at is fallen eggs. And all he is focused on is the broken ones, but not the ones that may still be intact or the ones here. He's focused on the broken ones. And I love this card, and I think my husband's going to appreciate it too, because we come from the United States where eggs are refrigerated. They are pasteurized, they're refrigerated. They go through this whole cleansing process, if you will, that requires eggs to have to be refrigerated. Whereas in other parts of the world and where we're at now, they are like these, they're near the produce section and they're out. They're not refrigerated. And so it made me chuckle because I was like, oh, I have a real appreciation for this card now. I do. Okay, now we have the 6 of Baskets. It's glorious. Oh, I don't know if this is a big sister or mom and child. It's beautiful. They're like harvesting. 7 of Baskets, all the different options that are before us to choose from. We have 8 of Baskets. Oh, it's even, all the baskets are empty. She's walking away. There's a quiet flow to this deck that I'm really appreciating. Oh, look at the 9 of Baskets. Looks like they're traveling in style. They have their suitcases, matching suitcases. Matching luggage, I should say. 10 of Baskets. Ah, that's beautiful. Everybody's settling in for a lovely meal together. We're moving on to the minors of the Ace of Knives. Two of Knives. Three of Knives. Looks like she's knitting something. Four of Knives. She's resting and meditating and taking a load off for a moment. I like that. 5 of Knives. This is an interesting depiction of the 6 of Knives. Normally we see a boat or we, Yeah, I see someone in a boat, you know, traveling across it, but this person is climbing up a mountain, a hill. 7 of Knives. Eight of Knives. Knives are in her towel. She's at the sink and mirror, or vanity, I guess. 9 of Knives. He's got his head stuck in the couch cushions. It's interesting. The eyes are open and looking. It's being watched. 10 of Knives. Wow. Wow, and look at that. It's like almost smoke-filled, and you can either see that's flames in the distance or the sun rising. Makes for an interesting read, I think. Then we have Ace of Coins. Getting a lot of water symbolism and elements. And looks like there's a shell here. That's probably representing the coins, 2 of Coins. Just so you know, when I got this deck, it had like plastic wrapped around it. So it wasn't like loosely floating around in the box. Just FYI. 3 of Coins. I like her outfit. 4 of Coins. Interesting. I like how her arms are crossed. She's standing in the door. She's holding something behind her. A necklace, it looks like, with little shells. 5 of Coins. 6 of Coins. I like this one. They're taking turns braiding her hair. It's beautiful. Or not taking turns, they're tag teaming it, I should say. 7 of Coins. 8 of Coins. That's beautiful as well. 9 of Coins. And 10 of Coins. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, indeed. So we'll set this off to the side for a moment for looking at the shuffleability, but we're now going to look at the guidebook, just see what it has here. It has a table of contents. We have a deck story. She's saying, I've been interested in tarot, astrology, and magic from the moment I was able to read chapter books. And I'm going to definitely read up on the deck story here. I love that she has that entry in the guidebook. We have Understanding Tarot. Look at this. Types of divination include tarot, automatic writing. Both of these are like cartomancy and automatic writing now. It's been like my main stay of divinatory tools as of late, as of a good long while now. Runes, tea leaf reading, pendulum, osteomancy, bone reading, lithomancy, stone reading, scrying. I scry with my crystal ball. Numerology. I mean, there's so many more, by the way. And she goes into a lovely paragraph here. The guides send signs to let us know of their presence. Signs can be present in the form of feathers, numbers, seeing the same numbers regularly, clouds, scents, music, and I'm not going to list all of them, but she has a lot here. What to ask, when to pull and how, the Black Tarot deck and guidebook, symbolism in the deck. So this is great. She even has a section on symbolism. And I find that sometimes lacking in other guidebooks written by deck creators. The way she has it set up here is wonderful. It's simple and easy to just understand and gravitate towards. Water. There's a lot of water symbolism in this deck, so I am so grateful she has a section on it. The moon. There's lots of moon phases shown in most of the cards. We've got moon phases, and she's got rituals for the new moon. However, if you have this guided journal, you're going to have even more ways to work with the new moon energy or the moon cycles. Okay, rituals for the full moon. She goes into the suits, wands, breaks them down, breaks down basket, knives, and coins. Numerology here. So even if you didn't have the guided journal, you'll still be okay. You'll be more than okay with this guidebook, okay? Alignment. So she speaks about upright and reversal in yang and yin. Yang is the known, order, masculinity, day, authoritarianism, fascism. Yin, the unknown, chaos, femininity, night, decadence, nihilism. Interesting. Affirmations. This is gorgeous, my God. I got this for my birthday. My birthday's coming up in a couple months, but I got this for Christmas for myself. It was a gift, and I am quite pleased. So we've got a section for spreads, 1-card spreads, so some key sentences or questions to ask. 2-card spreads. Oh, I like this. Do or don't. Situation, challenge. Blockage, solution. Aim, blockage. Ideal situation. What are you settling for? Wow. 3-card tarot spreads. This is so handy. She's so thoughtful, the creator, in how she created this deck. She's also a reader. I went to her website, and she does readings as well. So this is not just someone who's just taking on a new art project or endeavor. She is actually a reader. So I can tell that by how thoughtful she is in the guidebook, the deck. You could tell that every little detail has been thought through. Even having a guided journal, guided tarot journal at that. 4-card tarot spreads, 5 cards. It's got a grid. Okay, that's cool. Specialty tarot spreads. Preparing for a reading. Gather your deck, set the mood, set intention, shuffle the cards, position the cards, close the reading. Wow. And then we have the card meanings. And so then we have the Fool and the traits, the card description. So traits are like the key meanings or key words, card description. And then when the Fool card is pulled, it is time to consider the following. Are you living in the present? Are you ready to begin? What calls at your being to live out and achieve in your life? And then she's got the flower association, the element, the crown, or it's the crown chakra, but the chakra in yin and in yang, or vice versa. Aligning. Spend some time with the moon, journal. So this is how, when the Fool comes up, this is how you can align. And then affirmation. I look before I leap, and I dare to follow my calling. Wow. This is special. This is special. And I know this, inevitably the question always comes up from people who are not Black or, a person of color. Can they, should they, are they allowed to use this deck? Please do. Please support these creators, this illustrator. Just please do that, because I'm pretty sure she's celebrating our culture, celebrating our people and our history and our lineage and our ancestry, but she also wants you to learn and grow in tarot with her. So I just want to say that, because I know inevitably I always get asked that question on the channel, in the Facebook groups, and I'm pretty sure, I can't speak for her, but I'm pretty sure I can safely say she probably wants you to support her. And there's nothing here that's of closed traditions that you need to be concerned about, as we've seen so far, right? Because many of us, from many cultural backgrounds, practice ancestral veneration. So let's go to the minors. Let's just see how she does with the minors. She devotes a page, pretty much a good page, to the minors. Or here's the courts. This is the family courts. Let me make sure I have that here. Family court cards. So they're divided in that way. And then we go to the minor arcana, okay? And they still get quite a bit devoted on each page. And then we go through to the end. Let's see if we got anything else. We have about the author, Nyasha. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing your first name. Nyasha Williams. And the illustrator, Kimishka Naidoo. Okay. Now, let's see how it shuffles. Let's see. Now, overhand, I'm sure it shuffles just fine. Well, kind of, sort of. It's matte and a very thick deck. And it's a slight hair. Let me grab my Smith Waite borderless so you can see that. Let me grab that so you can do a comparison of the size, okay? So, you see? It's a hair bigger than the U.S. Games tarot size deck, okay? But that's okay. So it's not super big, but you know, it's not tiny either. And so overhand, it's fine. It's a little sticky, as matte decks are, but I think over time using this deck on a frequent basis, it's gonna be just fine. I also think let's see, if you separate them, I do this with my indie decks a lot. I divide it up into 2 sections so I can riffle shuffle. Hold on. Oh, riffle shuffles like that perfectly. And we'll do a 1-card draw. We'll do a 1-card draw just to see how it do. Yes, this riffle shuffles beautifully and broken into 2 sections. I don't think there's any way I can do that. It probably would be too much. I'm not going to even try and bend up my cards. But it's really nice. It's really high quality to be mass market, to be honest with you. And yeah, let's get a card, and so we can listen to how the guidebook reads with it. We got 4 of baskets, 3 of wands. I'm going to see if we can find a, let's see if we can find a major somewhere in here. I'm not going to read all of these. I'm just going to read excerpts from it so you can get a flow of how the guidebook reads. Here is the 4 of baskets. We're going to go to the minors section. Let's go. Reevaluation and contemplation. Okay. It says, card description, a woman pauses to look in the mirror. She is feeling stuck. She looks away from the baskets, uninterested. She doesn't see the new growth in the plant on the wall. That's interesting. A sign of potential opportunity. She only has to look around to see it. The 4 of baskets represents the need to ground ourselves, reflect, and make a new choice. It's time to rekindle your imagination and curiosity. And then she says, the mirror is an ask that you look not only externally, but internally. Where are your stress and struggles resonating from? Dwelling in the past or obsessing about the future steals you of the present. Previous hardships and heartbreak or distractions may be preventing you from seeing blessings and miracles. Step away from the cycles of worry and fear as they lessen your ability to receive. This card is a call to shift your focus to what is working and to open yourself up for more good to come. In Yang, refusal to fall in love again or take another chance of being hurt. News about a situation has already developed, or a time of stability when you can begin to establish a relationship with yourself. In Yin, remember that's like the shadow or reverse energy, realignment, withdrawal, depression, rejection of help, and aligning. Say yes to others who are offering to lend a hand. Wow. And then we'll see. I'm just going to take a quick look at Three of Wands. Expansion and foresight. 3 women lean against a fence blowing bubbles. The Three of Wands, a card of peace, symbolizes trusting in the universe while pausing to detach from the material realms to gain perspective. I'll stop there. I like that she says for aligning, take the scenic route. That's gorgeous. Let's take a look at Temperance. I went too far. Let's go to Temperance. Oops. Contentment, balance, and yes. So for the majors, the creator had assigned yes and no. I don't think she has maybe. Oh, yes, she does. Justice is maybe. And Hanged Man is maybe. But she didn't do this for the minors. I am someone that uses tarot to affirm yes or no, the affirmative or the negative. And yes, I also assign maybe to my cards too, to all 78 though. So we have Temperance, and traits is contentment, balance, and the answer of yes. Card description: a woman in a kitchen tempers chocolate, heating and cooling the chocolate to stabilize it, creating a glossy finish. She works to create balance, finding the perfect equilibrium. Tempering takes patience, understanding the gravity of a stable personal foundation, and collaboration with the community. The Temperance card calls for moderation. Do not act in haste, as the material and spiritual aspects of a situation must be considered in equal measure. And when the Temperance card is pulled, it is time to consider the following. What do you bring to the table? Do you actively engage with viewpoints outside of your echo chambers? Have you considered compromising? Why? Because you're trying to get in harmony, right? The flower associated is Amelia or tassel flower for creativity. The element is fire. Chakra is the heart. In Yang, it's about balance, moderation, purpose, patience, calm, rationale, going with the flow, commitment, persistence, dedication, stability, tranquility, harmony, and peace. In Yin, it's about excess, imbalance, hedonism, impulsiveness, negative behavior, discord, antagonism, clashing, lack of perspective, aligning, try a candle gazing meditation, or complete a project. And the affirmation: I open myself to focus on empowering beliefs that bring me closer to my full potential. And then we'll take a quick look and then we'll wrap up. Okay, we have the Empress. Hold on. Let me take a sip of my beverage. Let's take a look at the Empress. Her traits are grace, femininity, and she answers yes. And her flower associated is water lily for fertility. Let's see, chakras are heart and sacral. In Yang, she represents nurturing, feminine power, abundance, motherhood, sensuality, spiritual rebirth, quote unquote birth of a new idea, creativity, pregnancy, fertility. In Yin, or the shadow or the reverse, she represents burnout, creative block, negative self-talk, neglect, insecurity, lack of recognition or appreciation, detachment from reality, emotional challenges. aligning, engage in talk therapy, practice daily self-love affirmations and affirmation. I welcome the wisdom and knowledge of my ancestors who want the best for my family and for me to heal and strengthen my family line. Whoa. Whoa. I am very much smitten. I always say that about the decks I get. I'm like, I'm very smitten by this deck. I love this deck. But it's true. I mean, I'm only really calling in for decks that I'm really feeling and vibing with. So there's that. But this deck is special, you all. Like, it's really unbelievable that it is mass market produced by RP Studio. I am very impressed with the quality of this deck and the thoughtfulness of the guidebook and the journal, and even just the touch of the green in the tuck box that comes with, and the magnetic box. I mean, it literally is something. You know what? This is nicer than some of my most expensive indie decks I've received in my collecting years, in my 5 or 6 years of collecting decks. This is by far one of the top presentations that I've seen in a deck in a long time. And I'm impressed. I'm blown away. So let me hear from you. What do you think about this deck? Do you have it? Are you contemplating getting it? What are ways are you planning to use it? If you have the deck, or you knowing you're going to get it? At first, I was all set on it being like for client readings, for ancestral work, but I'm seeing so much more that I could do with this deck. I'm even thinking about hosting a mini tarot studies with it in the Abundant Life Tarot group on Facebook next year in 2023, because it is that special, and she gives us so much to work with. One of the Facebook group members had mentioned this deck and put it on my radar weeks ago, and I had seen it like months before, you know, on Amazon when it shows you pre-order, and I had it on my wish list, but I didn't really think much of it. And then it was the Facebook member who reminded me of it, and I was like, oh, okay, let me check it out. And then I started vetting the deck. I did an interview with my tried and true tarot deck that I always consult when I'm contemplating getting a deck, and it was like, yes, get this deck added to to our collection, added to our friend group. And then I also searched up on social media the creator and the illustrator, just making sure that I vibe with what they've got going on in the world. And I do. I'm really very much supporting this creator and the artist, and I'm just really impressed. I really am. So I can't wait to hear from you in the comments section. I know this was a rather longer flip through or walk through or whatever, video than I normally have been doing as of late, but I thought it important to share all of what I've got in relation to this deck and my, real first impressions of walking through it with you. Needed to share that. So do me a favor, on your way out, please hit the like button. I appreciate it. I try not to bombard you with all of that throughout the video, but let me tell you, it really does help the channel. It really, truly does. Also, if you haven't considered doing so, consider joining the Abundant Life Tarot channel. Subscribe. I would love to have you and engage with you on a consistent and regular basis, because I am that creator that loves to chit chat with her subscribers. So leave me a comment too. Don't forget. All right, friends, take very good care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.